And now, the SleepHawk Worldwide Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brandon Staton and Tyler Hansbrough.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the SleepHawk Worldwide Podcast. This is Sleep Dog with a Big Hulk.
What's up, everybody? It's a Big Hulk. It's a great day. We got a great pod. A lot of things to talk about, and ready to go, Sleep.
Man, I tell you what, we got a whole action-packed episode for you. So get up off the couch and get some little coffee in you. You're going to need it for the next 40 minutes or so if we make it that far. Coming off the PGA Championship, just ended right as we're starting to record here. We'll get into that. Mainly Scottie Scheffler. Oh, what a weekend for that guy. Didn't see that one coming. Got the Jimmy Seafood golf tournament coming up this week. Old Sleep Dog. I might have to flip the switch for that one. Got the NBA playoffs. Just had a game 7 earlier this afternoon. This is Sunday as we record. Got another one coming up right after we get done recording. We'll talk a little bit about that. Gonna get into maybe some convo. A lot of things going around about this Tom Brady roast on Netflix. Kind of interesting dialogue going there. It's Carolina Hurricanes. You never know what we'll get into. Neither do we. That's why you don't know. But we're gonna start Carolina basketball, and I think we're going to starting with something Carolina basketball every time. You guys let us know what you think about that, because dude, I got a late ad to this that I totally forgot about. But we found that like when we on our YouTube channel, like when we talk about UNC basketball, it tends to do pretty well. When we talk about like the NBA playoffs, for example, not so hot. And we had one person that I'm aware of listen to the podcast last time and reach out and say, hey, I got something you guys should talk about. Just so happens to be my dad, of course. So my dad is pumped because, dude, you're gonna love this, Tyler. We'll get to the basketball in a second. So my parents came this weekend, and they're actually gonna be in Baltimore, I think in June, to do 2 things. One, my dad is absolutely gassed about going to Jimmy Seafood. Never been there. He gets the boxes. He's got the T-shirt, right? He is just absolutely amped up. So when I go down to the golf tournament, I'm just going to have to let him know, like, when Big Roll rolls through, man, you guys, like, you might want to make extra food that night. So he's amped up. But all right, I will give you, think of the most random thing you could possibly think of as to why my parents will be driving to Baltimore. You're not going to get it, but I just want to hear something just absolutely random you could think of as why they would go to Baltimore. And then when I tell you, everybody that's listening is going to be, you're shitting me. You can't, for real? This is awesome. Okay.
It's not the Orioles.
Definitely not. It's not sports related at all, as a matter of fact.
A card show.
Very close. The Antiques Roadshow.
Oh, wow.
So my parents, I don't know if they're going to be on it or what. I don't know how it works. But my dad is like, dude, I mean, I tell you, this is a true story, okay? When I was a kid, my dad is a collector of things. My dad actually had a baseball card shop when I was a kid, and that's why I'm into it. He at a flea market. My dad can like go into a thrift store and find like pottery or china or sterling silver, and he like knows all the markings and stuff on it, and he just gets amped up if he buys something for $2 and sells it for $5, you know. And he loves to tinker around with all this stuff. And man, when I was a kid, dude, there are an insane number of, you remember when like Pepsi Points were a thing?
No.
You never drank soda. That's right.
No,
you never drank soda. Haven't you seen did you see anything about the Netflix documentary where they ran a promo and the dude won a fighter jet? I don't think you saw that either. Well, everybody else knows about this. I promise you, everybody else knows about this.
I believe you.
When you bought Pepsi's back in like the, I guess, mid 90s, they'd have like Pepsi Points, and Coca-Cola did the same thing for a while. Very similar to like when Mountain Dew had the orange caps during March Madness, and there's like a team underneath of it, and if that team won the championship. They had great promos with these soda companies when we were kids. But my dad took it too far. Okay, like what would happen is the bottles would have like on the little plastic label or under the lid, they'd have the points on them. And you just take like a pocket knife and cut them out, and then like you would literally mail them in to get like T-shirts or like like all kinds of stuff. And dude, we had a minivan, and my dad would pull that minivan over if we were driving down the street, he saw a 2-liter bottle just somebody threw out on the side of the road. He'd pull the road. I mean, on the highway, like, Brandon, hop out and get that Mountain Dew bottle. And I'm like, bro. So I'm out there dodging oncoming traffic after they had 3 liters back then too. And the 3 liters were big ones. There was this one story that I probably, like, in our new era of like trying to be a little more PC, I probably shouldn't tell, but I can't avoid it. I mean, I absolutely have to tell this story. So, and then we can move on. But we were going to, we used to live in Southeast Virginia, and there was a period in time between me for the 6th and the 7th grade when my dad's job, he got relocated down to North Carolina. And while I was finishing out the 6th grade, we were, he or like the family were kind of like going back and forth to Virginia a lot. And so, like, on the way back to North Carolina from Virginia, it's like a rural highway. I think it's Highway 13 that runs along south, of Virginia down like to like Williamston and all that stuff. And, or maybe it's 17. I don't remember. Anyway, dude, he tells this story so well, and this might be a total butch job, but like, he's driving down the street and he passes by in the other direction a cube box, which was back in the day, they would sell a 24 pack of cans in a huge, big square cardboard box. And the cube box had like a lot, like a 2-liter, you got 2 points. A 3-liter, you got 3 points. The cube, I want to say, you got like 25, 50 points out of it. Right. So he is like gangbusters, like whips the U-turn on the Dodge Shadow. And probably I can just see him now, like just thinking someone else was going to get to this trash on the side of the road, right? In the middle of nowhere. So he pulls over and he runs out and he goes and he's by himself. He goes out and gets this box. And I'll say it like this. Someone had just recently used that box as a toilet.
Oh, God.
And so, and he said, Brandon, the worst part about it is the Pepsi Points were gone. So, I mean, that's just like one of those family stories, like, he's just always like, dude, you got what you deserve for that one. And he's still, I mean, I'm 40 years, that story's probably 30 years old almost. And we still laugh about that, man. But yeah, dude, we used to dive in, we used to go dumpster diving and all that stuff, looking for Pepsi and Coke points. It was crazy. Anyway, Antiques Roadshow. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure he's got something worth, 10 or $20 that, they'll probably remind him of when he thinks it's a fortune. But good luck, Dad. I mean, hey, that's what you get, though. He's the guy that sent in what we should talk about, and it's the off season, baby. So
gotta let us know what he gets at the antique.
I can't wait, dude. And I know he's taking my mom, and I'm pretty sure he's taking my mom. So you get a lottery to get the tickets. And I think you can bring a couple of things with you. And so I just hope he's got something. I just hope he gets on there. I got a buddy that won a car on The Price is Right once. Wyatt. Tyler knows Wyatt.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
Won a car on The Price is Right. It's a true story. If you knew Wyatt, it would just be even better. And yeah, it would be up there for me if my dad is on the show. So I don't know. Good luck, Dad. I don't know. Let's try to dig up something
We're pulling for you. SHWW.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we heard it here first, man. We'll break the news when he shows up on the show. Anyway, all right. So, Carolina transfer portal. That's what we're going to talk about first. And like I was saying before, the whole diatribe on the Antiques Roadshow, we're going to start leading the show, I think, with some sort of Carolina basketball news, history, whatever. Just to lean into our market a little better. But of course, right now, everybody's, we're just like kind of, this is, I don't know when the transfer season is over, but it's still underway. And as we try to round out the roster, who better to tell us who the Tar Heels should go after than Tyler? So, Big Hawk, break it down for us, man. Who are the portal targets? Who are the folks that Carolina's after. Who should they be after? Who they you think they're going to land, and who's going to have the biggest impact potentially on this roster?
Well, before we start, as we know, the portal is a very fluid situation. I mean, this could all kind of change, but just kind of gathering a little bit of info. Kid from Vanderbilt, Vin Allen Lubin. Hopefully, I'm saying his name right.
Sounds as good as I would do.
He is a target, good player, solid player, veteran player. Started at Notre Dame, played at Vanderbilt last year for Stackhouse. Stackhouse and Vanderbilt parted ways, and so he's back in the portal. He is a target. And then Ugina Onyenso from Kentucky. This kid's he's a big man. He's a very good athletic, a little bit raw, but great shot blocker. I think he'd be a great addition. He can do a lot of things. He can guard a lot of different positions. But I think he is a rim protector, and I think he'd be a great get as well. And then the other player is Coleman Hawkins from Illinois. He had a great year. Honestly, I thought he improved as the year went on. And Illinois had a very good year, kind of up and down year. They went through some things, but honestly, this kid can hoop. And I'm not sure if Coleman will come back to college. There's a lot of speculation that he'll stay in the NBA draft. And just my intuition is that he will stay in the draft. I think he probably an NBA player. So it's a good chance he gets drafted, especially in this year's draft, which is very weak. But he'd be a great addition. He can do a lot of different things. He averaged 12 points, 6 rebounds, and almost 3 assists a game. So, I mean, he can put it on the floor. He's very skilled, has a lot of good size, athleticism. So all three of these guys would be a good addition. But there's also other players. And next pod, we'll give you more of an in-depth breakdown of some more players and what's going on in the portal as kind of the summer evolves and what rumors are being brought about the roster. But there's no question the best portal pickup has been Seth Trimble. He entered the portal. We got him, and you know what? I love Seth. I'm glad he's back.
Me too.
I'm pumped up to see him play this year. So
word on the street is old Sleep Dog. We might be playing golf with him on Saturday or on Wednesday. You mentioned it. I mean, of course, this could change because God knows it changes as the wind blows. The portal and who's where and who's available and whatnot. But it is starting to settle a little bit as the draft. Draft is in June. I think what is the NBA draft? I think is middle part of June. That was another crazy thing. I think we talked about we talked about the draft on the last pod, and by the results of it was just a all-time thriller of an episode. But we got pretty deep into that, so no need to revisit that again. But yeah, I mean, anything can change on a pretty regular basis here, and obviously as the summer moves along, some of these question marks, will become periods in a sense. And then, of course, some other wacky stuff is bound to happen. And then we'll wind up, trying to figure it all out again. But PGA Championship just ended. And to say it was overshadowed by what preceded it, or at least preceded the second round of it, is an understatement of the century. So for those of you that have been on Pluto for the last 3 or 4 days, Scottie Scheffler, number one golfer in the world, all around seems to be the nicest dude anyone's ever met. Humble, dude wins and is cool, man, great, seems to be a great father, great whatever person. You wake up on Friday morning and it's they kept saying he's been detained by the police. Didn't say he was arrested until later. But the news breaks at I'm up at 7. And I'm like, dude, Scottie Scheffler detained by police? What happened? Now, let me preface this by saying the sort of root issue at hand here was a pedestrian was struck and killed by a shuttle bus, which of course is a tragic thing, awful. We're not making light of that in any stretch of the imagination. What ultimately happened, it sounded like, was a bit of a chaotic sort of traffic situation. And anybody that's ever been to a Tar Heels game, Hurricanes game, it's professional sports, hell, probably high school sports game, like traffic can get a little dicey up there. So it just so happened that some ESPN guy who I saw on TV later, who, interestingly enough, you know, it's just a classic media move. Like, I'd never seen this guy anywhere at any point in time, ever, on ESPN, on TV or anything. Maybe I missed him. Maybe he's just a golf guy. But of course, they got him front and center. And but he was there and saw the whole thing happen allegedly, and was like, if you saw the videos on like TMZ or social media, it was like, chances are this is the video that this guy was shooting. And so as he told it, that I'm just recalling here right now for the first time off the top of my head, they were told that only golfers were allowed in. And Scottie Scheffler was using the shoulder to drive by to get in, and a cop on foot told him to stop, and it said he didn't stop immediately. He went a little farther, and the cop told him to roll his window down. And as soon as he rolled his window down, the cop reached in there and yanked him out of the car. Well, I think actually, see, this is me butchering the thing, but like apparently at some point in this interaction, this dude like quote unquote attached himself to the car. So I think it's like Scottie Scheffler's like continued to drive by him. He like jumped on the car, held on the door handle, I don't know, and then, you know, told him to roll the window down. Scheffler rolls the window down. Dude reaches in, opens the door, rips him out of the car, and puts him in handcuffs. Scottie Scheffler gets arrested, charged with a felony, assault of a police officer, and some other stuff. 4 charges total. They take the guy, book him. He gets a mugshot. So at no point between this, what, in all honesty, I mean, I wasn't there and I have no clue what happened, but it sure reads like a misunderstanding. And it was just interesting to me that they just kept, like, apparently this whole thing just was not cleared up to the point where, I mean, he literally got arrested, booked, charged, let go, went out, second round of the PGA, shoots a 66. I mean, maybe, and I'm gonna hedge one more thing before I shut up and chat about it with you, Tyler. But if he did anything wrong, cool. Like I'm not here to like say he's in it. I don't have any idea what happened. I just think it's wild. I don't know what. Like maybe he kicked the dude in the face for all. I have no idea what happened. So if he did something wrong, then he should have been thrown in jail and all this stuff probably shouldn't have let him go. Right. But based on what I know and what I've read, which is probably the same amount everybody else knows and has read, it just seems weird. Like that all that happened. And then they seem to like expeditiously process him through the system in ways many others wouldn't get. And then he's back out on the golf course. So equal parts weird, equal parts impressive. We're going out and shooting a 66 in a major championship after you're in jail all morning.
Listen, when I saw that Scottie Scheffler was arrested, I was like, I would have never thought this guy would ever be arrested. Like, his reputation seems like a very good person in general. You know, if this would have been John Daly,
yeah, exactly.
I would have been like, oh, John Daly, boy.
On the sauce early.
Oh, man, he was after it last night. He rolled in. I guarantee he had a tee time, went straight from the bars to the course and got him another
told
one.
Him to stop. He was like, nah. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, stop it. But it is an incredible story. So he got arrested like 6 a.m., right? Mm-hmm. His tee time was at 10, mm-hmm. and I think he got bailed out around 9.
9. I think he had a course at 9:08 or something like that.
Unbelievable. And birdie's the first hole. That I mean, that is one of the most impressive things in golf. I mean,
maybe in the history of sports.
Can you imagine? I cannot birdie the first hole basically off of the perfect night's sleep, the perfect nutrition, the perfect like warm up routine, and the best coach in the world. Yeah. guided me through the first hole.
Yeah.
This guy just came straight from jail to the first hole and birdied it.
Yeah, you could
That's
spot me a shot. Yeah, there ain't no chance.
It just that story will like whatever happened, but the fact that he went from jail to the tee time and birdied the first hole, that will forever be a hero story in a way. Like as far as like it's almost like a Superman type of or one of those type of
superhuman friggin'
superhuman moments.
Yeah.
But Sleep, I will say this about this situation. Like it always like amazes me. I don't care if it's like law enforcement, a regular person, or if you're like a traffic director.
Mm-hmm.
The people that jump out in front of a car to get it to stop, like this is like because I've had this happen to me before.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was playing, sometimes I would go around.
Yeah.
There would be spots for players to drive, and a lot of the parking staff or the traffic directors, they didn't know I was a player, and some of them would just jump right out in front of my car. And it always pissed me off because I'm like, hey, don't jump in front of my car. I'm a player.
Dude's getting paid $11.50 an hour.
Do not jump in front of my car because if I hit you, it's not a good situation.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to stop, but don't jump in front of my car, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Because people are on their cell phones. There's so many distractions.
Yeah.
And the thought of somebody jumping in front of somebody's car, like, hey, it ain't even worth it. Like, it is not just go ahead. We'll figure this out. We'll get you. There's cameras. We can get back in the car, chase you down, whatever.
Yeah.
That to me, when I read the story, like the guy jumped on his car to get him stopped. I was like, well, I bet that worked out.
Yeah. I bet it really slowed him down. I mean, that's the thing to me. The only thing that in my mind could justify what I have already, articulated in my imagination happen, right? Like I've, again, no clue. But it's like, if he was creating an imminent situation to this scene, to emergency personnel getting there, or, potentially interfering with that in any way, then I guess I can understand the reaction but it doesn't sound like, and I mean, if you watch this video, like it was, this other cop goes, he's going to jail and there's nothing you can do about it. And it didn't seem like, and then the one guy asked him, was like, do you know the name of the guy we just arrested? Which I think, shout out to Scheffler. If he does wind up being what it appears to be, is like innocent in this situation, just like this is a whole misunderstanding. I mean, shout out to him for not being, because dude, 90% of people would be like, dude, do you know who I am? And, he's just such a like level-headed, kind of humbled. He never said a word about it. Of course, it's a legal matter now, so he can't say much at all. But, his only reaction was, just thoughts for the people, which was a very humble thing to do, and what was probably a really embarrassing situation for a guy like him. But that was just nuts, man. And you have to think that it caught up with him on Saturday, because that round was not that great. But he was in the mix, day one and day two. And it's just crazy, man. I did not expect to see that story, and it just got weirder and weirder. But Xander Schauffele won the tournament, and Bryson DeChambeau. So I got two questions / comments on what's going on here. Schauffele seems like a likable dude. I don't know if he's a live guy or not. I can't remember. I can't keep it all straight. But the first thing is, DeChambeau was in the running, and DeChambeau's a live guy, and I don't really care anything about this. All I know is that Bryson DeChambeau, to me, got like 4 to 5 times more likable just by when he stopped wearing that stupid hat. And like now he dresses normal, and I'm like, I like him. I feel like he's a pretty good golfer. It was that hat for me, man. And it wasn't all the quirky stuff, because like, once that wore off and everybody stopped talking about it, then like, I mean, that dude absolutely crushes drives. And he damn near won today. And, and then what happens, that segues to the next. So he makes a pretty, I think it was a 10-footer on 18 to go 20 under and take the lead into the clubhouse. And then Schauffele, maybe he tied for the lead. I can't remember. But Schauffele was tied with him on 18. And of course, DeChambeau's done. Schauffele hits his first shot, okay, into like a sloped, the rough caught it from rolling into the fairway bunker. It's like one of those shots that I think you'd rather it roll into the fairway bunker. So his ball's like at his waist and just absolutely hits a piss missile about 10 feet short of the green. Okay. Par 5. And I'm just like, this is just legendary. So he's got like one of those chips that a golfer like me or you is either going to hit 6 inches or 60 yards. You know what I mean? And he just feels it out, and he's got a 5-footer, like 5.5, I think, for birdie to win the PGA Championship. So first of all, I forget that shot there's obviously a little pucker factor on the drive to get where his lie was. But then that shot kind of takes some pressure off in my mind, because it's like, well, what does anybody expect me to do with this? So you just stripe one. But from about 20 yards, like 10 feet off the green. Like, first of all, that's a chip shot that is absolutely pressure packed, because if you duff that one, if you skull that one, now you got like a 40-foot putt, to keep this thing from going to playoff, right? And you'd be lucky to 2-putt. You might, and then you got more pressure. This dude chips it up to 5 feet, walks up, and he did a little free version of Hulu. Went around the inside, but it went in. And my question is, and the same question I asked him was, you think Cam makes that putt 5-footer PGA Championship on the line to win it?
I think Cam would have a hard time holding a club in that situation. His hands would be shaking so much. He'd be like one of those shake weights.
He might whiff at it. Oh man.
Back to DeChambeau. He used to wear that hat, I think, as a
nod to Payne Stewart.
Yep.
Is what I think happened, and then that's cool. But
yeah, Payne Stewart's a Missouri guy. So am I. So I had to throw that in there.
I love Payne Stewart. Got a 99 U.S. Open champ. Speaking of the thrift store, I found a 99 U.S. Open championship poster at a thrift store one time, and I bought it. It's hanging on my wall in my office. It's original print. $25, dude. Mm-hmm. It's like $250 poster.
But I've never been a big fan of DeChambeau. I get it. I thought it was funny when he put on all that weight to try to make his drives a lot longer. And if you look at, I think he did lead the PGA in drives, or the longest drive, average longest drive. But the guy behind him was Rory, who almost weighed 100 pounds less than him. Mm-hmm. So mechanics had a lot to do with that as well. And the thought of just, listen, if it was getting into the weight room and putting on a lot of muscle, I could have just told you, hey, that don't work, buddy. I've been in the weight room my whole life. My drives ain't been straight since. But I will tell you, Sleep, there ain't no way me and you were making that putt. I tell you, when we golf, I try to get close enough to the hole where the people I'm playing with say, go ahead and pick that up.
Yeah, you go ahead and take it, man. I've seen enough.
and then I'm always with that asshole friend that makes you putt it all the way in the hole.
Oh, we know what his name is. He's the one guy that can't make that putt if life depended on it.
I'm like, hey, do you want to play a 10-hour round? Or you want to just give me this putt?
Yeah.
How about that, buddy?
You think?
Okay, It's 3 feet, all right?
Yeah. Buddy, I'm
What's
not going
7
on tour.
to an 8?
I know you're going on tour, but I'm not going on tour. I'm just trying to get a Snickers bar at the turn, okay? And re-up on these White Claws, all right? There's gonna be a lot of gimmies at Jimmy's. That's what they should. They should trademark that. It was. DeChambeau hit a drive. His exit velocity was like 189 miles an hour or something. I mean, dude's hit snooks. Anyway, like, kind of indifferent. I'm indifferent to him too. Like, Schauffele's kind of. I don't know. That's the thing with golf right now. Tiger was just like never in it. I mean, I think he wasn't even in it from like 3 holes in, it was a done deal. And that's the problem with the golf, I think, right now. Like Justin Thomas had a flash. He's from Kentucky, so he had a lot of people pulling for him. I mean, he was at 11 under at one point. I like him. You know, I like a few other guys, but I don't know, man. Golf is just one of those things where it's fun to watch, you know, in the right mood now, but it just ain't been the same since Tiger, you know, Tiger sort of tailed off. I did watch a decent amount of Saturday and Sunday of this for the first time in a while, but anyway, I mean, Xander Schauffele, hats off, man. Dude, also a 21 under par for the tournament, which I think broke the, 72-hole record for a major, which is impressive considering how many times Tiger just eviscerated everybody.
Sleep. Yeah. One last thing on golf. And no one's like, I haven't followed golf that much because, you know, listen, it's not all that exciting at times.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever really kind of looked into the Ricky Fowler kind of like he's never really in contention? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, dude. Yeah, like, he's like, you know, the best golfer that's never been
3 or 4 years ago, he was always on the leaderboard. Now he's just grinding it away, kind of like you never really hear about him, like in the running.
I don't know. That's a good question.
And I really liked his game. I thought he had a really good, smooth, nice golf game. I thought he'd be one of those guys that would just get better and better and kind of, you know, always there in contention at some point.
Golf is a fickle mistress, man. He maybe should start dressing like a motocross racer again, like he used to back in the day. Wear those weird fox hats or whatever it was that motorcycle people wear. That was wild to me, man. He'd show up in all orange Puma. I mean, like, yikes. I mean, he's the one dude that everybody loved, and you go to the Dick's Sporting Goods and all that orange Puma mannequin, man, that stuff's on sale for $19.99 for the whole outfit. You couldn't give that thing away. You couldn't sell that outfit to a road cone. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know what happened to Ricky, but Spieth's kind of the same way, like always kind of around, like they're popular enough. I mean, even Justin Thomas, I mean, he hasn't won anything in a long time.
Yeah.
So that was crazy, but another kind of crazy, couple crazy outcomes in the NBA, and we'll kind of get out of here shortly after this. But so the Pacers beat the Knicks today in Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. All this hoopla about the Knicks, dude. And as a lifelong Mets fan, I just look. That's just what happens in New York. The Jets, the Mets, the Giants, like they don't ever win squat.
Rangers.
And Rangers look pretty good. I mean, I don't know much about hockey, but they look pretty good. Probably won't win anything though. So that happened, and then so the Pacers will play the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then no sooner did I basically text Tyler and say, "Hey man, I think Oklahoma City's gonna win it all." That I ain't sure they made a basket after that happened. I mean, they just mailed it in the rest of the series. You got smoked by Dallas. Okay, Kyrie Irving had not a good series. So they just sort of folded. OKC did. I think they have plenty of good days ahead. They've got a great young roster, good coach, good fans. Like they're going to keep their pieces in place for at least 2 or 3 more years before the money starts getting tight. And I've even read where they might flip Josh Giddey for a couple picks. But so we got Nuggets Wolves for a Game 7 tonight. I can't wait. That's already started. I can't wait to watch that one. But yeah, kind of wild. So your old team, Pacers, taking on the Celtics. Any chance they beat them?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I don't like the Celtics, and they're like kind of a weirdly boring team. Like Jason Tatum might be the most boring superstar I've ever seen. I mean, I wouldn't even classify, like it's weird because a superstar designates like a persona too, like like a societal thing, right? And like Jokic is obviously one of, if not, he's obviously MVP, so one of, if not the best players in the league. But oddly, he doesn't feel like a superstar. You know what I mean? A superstar carries something off the court too. He's just like the best dude in the league and then goes home and goes to sleep at night. But Tatum is supposed to be a sort of notch into the, into the culture. And I don't, and it ain't because he's a Duke guy. I mean, he seems like a pretty likable dude. He's a good player, but he's just not flashy enough for me. Like his game shows me nothing. I'm like, man, I haven't seen that before.
You're right. He's a heck of a player. He has the stats, actually an MVP candidate, but he doesn't carry it's not like LeBron's coming into town. It's not like KD's coming into town. It's not like Jokic coming into town, but he's in that category. Yeah, he hasn't won the whole thing yet. Maybe that's what's holding him back. And I think a lot of people, that's kind of been his criticism is, you know what, not really the playoff success.
Yeah, I will. I'm really rooting for the Wolves to beat the Nuggets. I'm not a Gobert fan. I'm not the biggest Cat fan. But, dude, Anthony Edwards is so good. He's like 22 or 23 years old, and it would be real cool to see him, like, become that guy because he's got it in him. There ain't no doubt about it. So, you know, I definitely am with you. I think that the Pacers are an interesting team because they had a Benedict Mathurin or however you pronounce it. You know, he's a big second-year guy, and he's been out for a while. And now, after they traded for Siakam, they're talking that they might even move him. And, you know, he's probably, I think he was a starter most of the season. So not having him, you know, it turns out that Jalen Brunson's playing with a broken hand. I mean, dude, they were so banged up. Julius Randle was out. So what the Knicks did was actually, you know, pretty compelling given how banged up they were. But yeah, I think it's Celtics and whoever wins this game tonight. That's who I've got in the finals, and probably change my mind if I'd probably take that one to old Andy and just do the opposite. You'll make some money, I'm sure. Anyway, playoffs kind of getting ready to get interesting. I got to be honest, if the Nuggets win this game, Nuggets, Mavs, Pacers, Celtics, that's got low ratings written all over it for the rest of the way, to be honest. I don't feel like talking about the Tom Brady roast. It was wild. If you watch, I'm sure it's on Netflix. I watched it live and I was like, dude, there's a lot of people that are really drunk on live TV right now.
Yeah, I don't think many people are going to be jumping in to go get roasted now.
That was what I was going to ask you.
There's a lot of apologies, and hey, you know what? My family didn't really appreciate that going on afterwards. So they let him have it. They said, "You want to get roasted? Bring your ass on up here. We'll roast you."
Oh man, they gave it to him. How much money would it take? Like, legitimately, how much money would it take for you to get up there and just let people roast you like that? Because for me, I'm like, you know, I don't even have any. You know, nobody knows who the hell I am.
Not a lot, Sleep. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, it was wild, dude. I was like, I mean, people were like trashed, and then I don't know how. And I think Kim Kardashian, like, I felt bad for. I said I didn't want to talk about it. Maybe I actually do. Like, I felt bad for Kim Kardashian, and I was actually kind of surprised because she got up there, and I thought like her little spiel was like, damn, like pretty coherent. I just expected this to be dumb, but I mean, all I ever knew about her was that stupid TV show and just stuff you read in tabloids. But then people started turning around and roast. You had to be careful when you get up there because it wasn't just Tom Brady getting roasted. And like, once you go, you know, you don't get to come back up there. So like, people were roasting her, and I was like, damn, that's just cold right there. But old Tom, buddy, he was taking it on the chin, and I was like, dude. Oh, because it's funny that the one thing he told that dude not to say was when they got on Robert Kraft about his little expose down there in Florida at the massage shop. And he was like, don't say that again. I was like, of all things, it was wild. I mean, Bill Belichick showed up. I don't know. It's worth the watch. If you're super bored, don't bring the kids around. Dear God. There was some stuff in there that made me feel uncomfortable. I was watching it by myself on a couch. Anyway, get out of here on this one. Hurricanes didn't look comfortable. I did watch the last few games, 2 games maybe. Dude, they were winning 3-1. Rangers are good. Rangers, I think, were the 1 or 2 teams that bested Carolina in a regular season. Canes had a game 6 in Raleigh. I was having serious FOMO because I turned it on. We're up 3-1 in the third period and lose 5-3. I mean, give up 4 goals in the fourth period. That was pretty brutal. And almost 5 because we had one Jordan Martinook, the psycho dude with the beard. Like, he made one of the craziest hockey plays I've ever seen. They almost tied the game on a goal. And I mean, he dove out with his stick, and the puck, I didn't realize the puck had to cross the line. I thought it just had to touch it. Well, I had to cry. It damn near crossed it. And he reached in with his stick, dove out there, reached in with his stick, and scoop. Nope. Didn't matter. Got smoked. So at least we don't have to pretend like hockey anymore for a couple more months. AKA about a year. But yeah, I mean, that's all we got, guys. Driving to Baltimore this week. Yeah, get your crab cakes. I mean, I'm might even live stream some of this. Might really surprise you who I'm teamed up with. It's gonna be a fun time. We can't wait. Go to Jimmy's Seafood, order some seafood. They'll ship it straight to your house, and it's good, man. I mean, that's the other thing. My dad hadn't stopped talking about. He's going to Antiques Roadshow and Jimmy's Famous Seafood. And, I mean, you'd think he's going to Disneyland. So, you got anything else, Big Hawk?
Stay safe.
Stay safe.